As I said to you, I started my retreat in 97. My first yoga class, it was in 1972. I was a freshman in college. I was a yoga instructor and still am in the winter months in New York City. And so there was no email lists or influencers or anything like that. You just had your people that came to your classes, and you did it because you loved it and you saw them transformed and changed and healed. And on my retreat, what also makes it unique, and this isn't of interest to everyone, but is why I did it, is I bought it. I didn't inherit it. It's an ancestral home. My great-grandfather was trained by the Native Americans all about nature from the age of 3. It's a true story. And Theodore Roosevelt, when he was in college, was very, very sickly all his childhood with asthma. He went up there 3 times in a row, trekked with my great-grandfather, went up mountains, got well. Anyway, long story short, they had a lifelong friendship, and healing happened in this house. You know, this man healed from asthma. You can't say cured from it, but he was going to be a naturalist. So what drew him there was a professor that said, you got to meet this man who knows so much about nature. So to me, our retreat, my retreat, whatever, our community there is really rooted in a history of how nature connects us to each other and to healing, because that's exactly what happened. These 2 unlikely men were lifelong friends as a result of their mutual love of going out into nature. So I think the goal with yoga is, or meditation or self-reflection or whatever, is to go inside and see, like, yes, I'm going to have times I'm not joyful. I'm going to have times I'm not happy. I'm going to have times I'm angry. I'm going to have times I'm sad. How can I filter through that? Like, you have to go through it. And so that's what I mean. Like, ultimately, I consider myself, you know, probably a happier person than a lot of people. But all those other emotions I just mentioned to you, I definitely have. I think it's too bad that people don't realize that happiness isn't always joyful, right? There are going to be the times that you are going to feel very discouraged and very sad or angry. That's just part of being human, you know? And if we could just acknowledge that, I guess maybe by now I've lived, I self-published a memoir, and I've lived a kind of unique life, and I've taken certain risks, and, you know, they haven't all worked out very well, but in taking those risks, I've seen how you can lose things, you can gain things, and putting yourself out there is one of the ways to learn to have tools to not self-destruct. Does that sound weird? But, you know, that's what I mean. Like, I just don't think we allow ourselves to be vulnerable enough. And I think, ironically, that's how we get stronger. The whole thing in life is keep it together, which means then you aren't being vulnerable. And you can't be vulnerable with everyone, but you have to have a space with yourself, to be honest. And, you know, we can all worry, we can all be fearful, we can all make poor choices. In the end, though, sit back and realize that to be happy is your choice. It's your choice, you know, and what motivates you in life, I think, is really what makes you happy.